You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 21st meeting for the Michigan City Board of Cemetery Trustees. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'm calling to order the Cemetery Board of Trustees meeting on Thursday, August 21st. Roll call.
Davis Bush,
Present.
Bernadette Demke, Renee Bauer,
Present.
Stephen Janis,
Here.
Vera Gaston, and Ken Hutchins.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, we can go through and ask for approval of the minutes from last meeting.
So approved. I will second that.
We move immediately on to the financial report from Brad from Horizon.
Thank you. So starting at the top of the summary page in the packet, permanent maintenance premium account. That account was up 0.27% for the month and up 1.88% year to date. Next we have the permanent maintenance Swan Lake account. That was up 0.29% for the month and up 1.94% year to date. An extension fund, that account was up 0.27% for the month and up 1.84% year to date. And then finally, the merchandise and commission account was up 0.30 for the month and 0.90 year to date. Moving to page 2 with the account details, starting out with the permanent maintenance Greenwood account. Money market right now is yielding 4.19%, which is down just a fraction from last month of 4.20. The mutual fund overall yield of the account is 3.75%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.51. The overall yield in this account is at 3.89, which is up from last month 3.73. Moving to page 3, in the permanent maintenance Swan Lake account. Mutual fund yield in this account is at 3.75, up from last month 3.56. And the overall yield in this account is at 4.08, which is up from last month's yield of 3.99. Moving to page 4, the extension fund. Mutual fund overall yield in this account is at 3.87%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.59. And the overall yield in this account is at 3.98%, which is up from last month's 3.8% yield. And then finally, moving on to the merchandise fund. The overall mutual fund yield in this account is at 3.90%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.57. And the overall yield in this account is at 4.12, which is up from last month's yield of 4.04. So that's all for the individual account reports. Just an economic update. The Fed members are meeting this week in Jackson Hole for their conference. So there's going to be a speech tomorrow morning from the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. So that will give us hopefully some insight into what the Fed is considering moving forward for the September meeting. Right now, the market is pricing in about an 80% chance of a Fed cut in September. So they're expecting a 25 basis point cut in September. And the market's also pricing in 1 to 2 additional cuts by the year end as well. So we'll see how that all plays out. As far as the employment picture, job openings right now are falling, but layoffs are not rising much. So we're basically a low hiring, low firing environment in the U.S. Wage growth is still pretty strong. Average hourly earnings were up 3.9% year over year recently, so that's a good sign. And the unemployment rate right now is about 4.2, so that again, that's not really alarming at all. So, employment situation outlook looks stable right now in the U.S. Initial jobless claims also fell last week down to 224,000. That was previously reported at 227,000, so that's another good sign. Just basically amounts to a labor market that's cooling, but it's not by any means collapsing. So that's a good sign for the economy. In addition to that, corporate earnings have been very strong in the second quarter. Corporations reporting earnings are basically outperforming their expectations by almost double what had been expected at the beginning of the quarter. So that's a good sign for the economy there. And then right now, we haven't seen too harsh of an impact from the tariffs as of yet as far as price increases. It seems like companies so far have been absorbing a lot of the costs related to the tariffs. But we're not expecting that to last forever, so we do expect some price increases coming up here in the next several months. But we're not expecting sustained inflation. It could be a level up in prices because of the tariffs, but we don't expect that to continue to rise as far as as a result of the tariffs. So again, the Fed is expected to cut in September. We'll see if that plays out. Again, the speech tomorrow by Chairman Powell will be very telling, hopefully, as to what they're going to do as far as interest rates are concerned. But it's all depending on the labor market and if they feel like inflation is getting under control. So I'll pause there and see if there's any comments or questions.
None? We'll need a motion to accept it.
I make a motion that we accept the financial report.
I'll second that.
We'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any negatives? Good. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Great day.
Now, we do have before us a registered bills to be presented as everyone gets a copy, everybody reviews it. And if there's any questions or comments we need to know before we ask for a motion. Good around? Good. Motion to accept the bills presented for payment.
I'll make that motion to accept the bills for payment.
I'll second that.
Okay, we'll vote on it again. All in favor?
Aye.
All negatives? Motion carries. And on my list, the superintendent's report is next.
I'll start with the stats from last month. Greenwood, we have 5 ash, 2 full burials, no entombments for a total of 7. And then Swan Lake, we had 1 ash burial, 6 full burials, and 1 entombment for a total of 8. And then a grand total of 15. And then that's how our stats are looking compared to the previous months of this year. And then there's how we compare to last year. We're down, at least for July, we're down significantly from last year. But again, last month we were up considerably, so we're kind of deviating from last year's pattern a little bit. Next item I have is the 2025 revenue update. I'm going to start including this on the monthly report too, just so everybody knows where we're at, how we're coming along on the revenue we're taking in. As of July 31st, we've taken in a total of $445,000, $682.04. But one thing you have to keep in mind is, like, you notice January is significantly higher, and that's because we received last year's interest payments on our funds late. So we had to count it towards this year's income, not last year's. So that, and then obviously each quarter we're supposed to get paid from the interest payments for those funds. So I believe we took a payment in July too. So that's why July shows 82,000, which is, that's our total revenue, including interest income. But the reason I'm putting this up there is when we go through our budget process each year, we have to kind of project how much we think we're going to take in the following year, so that we can base our wish list off of that, and so that the controller's office knows how much they're going to have to come up with at the end of the year. Because obviously, as much as we take in this year, there'll still be money that will have to be transferred from the riverboat fund to cover our shortage at the end of the year. So I think for this year we had projected that we were going to take in about 370,000 around there. So I think we're well ahead of our projection. So I think we're in good shape this year. Next item, the 2026 budget update. So as I said, we're going through the process now with the controller's office and with the mayor's office, obviously asking for equipment and other things that we need in next year's budget. Just a few things that we asked for. We asked for additional funds in our heating and electric. Our NISCO bills have gone through the roof this year. Even this year, we don't have enough in this year's budget, so we're going to be scrambling to take some money out of other line items, unfortunately. Next year, we're asking for an additional $5,000 for the NIPSCO, and we're hoping that covers it. The other thing we're going to ask for is additional funds in our contractual services. Being that we're now contracted with SemSites, who's providing our subscription software service, we have an obligation of $6,300 that we have to pay each year for that license. And then I believe we asked for more household items too, because we're having trouble buying basic items like cleaning equipment, paper towels, and things like that. So
500?
Yeah, 500. So the mayor was in support of all those things. I also asked for additional money for capital expenditures next year, which would include the purchase of a new zero-turn mower and a new pickup. And I'll explain those here in a minute. But my plan was to buy a new zero-turn mower each year, or at least every other year, so that we don't come to a situation where we have to ask for money for four, because we operate 4 zero turns between the 2 cemeteries. As you see coming up here, this year we need to buy one this year, and we've already budgeted for that this year. But the mayor informed me that there would not be enough in the city's budget next year to cover those 2 items. So she suggested that since we have sufficient funds in our extension fund, that we purchase the truck and next year's mower out of that line item, out of the extension fund. So basically how it works is, like this year, in addition to our operating fund, the city council approved the appropriation of $100,000 out of our extension fund. And it's kind of in the background on our operating fund. It's nothing that we can just take out. The council appropriates that money, the $100,000, and then this board can actually determine how that's spent, or if it's spent. This year, we don't project spending the full $100,000 that was appropriated this year. Just forecasting, I think we're going to be about, we're still going to have about $40,000 left at the end of the year. That $40,000 will revert back into the extension fund. We don't lose it if we don't use it. But then again, like I say, next year, we're going to ask for another $100,000 to be appropriated for this board to cover emergency expenses. If we have to replace a roof or a furnace, that money's going to be there for us. But again, it's up to this board to determine how, if and when that is used. Oh, and the other thing that we're asking for more money in, just recently, we met with the mayor, and the mayor has agreed to extend Denise at Greenwood. She's now going to be full-time. This year, she's going to be in her current position. Next year, she will be promoted to an administrative 2 position, and that'll come with a slight raise too. So But just for everybody's knowledge here and the public's knowledge is that now, from now on, our Greenwood office will be open 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., just like Swan Lake is. Next item I have approval of mortgage purchase. Like I said, the city doesn't have it in their funds to give us it next year. However, this year we had already planned to purchase one out of the extension fund. I've solicited quotes from 3 different companies. Riggs Outdoor Power Equipment from LaPorte, Frontier Equipment in Michigan City, and Kenny Machinery from Fort Wayne. The lowest quote came in at $18,000 from Riggs, and that would be to supply a Kubota ZD 1211 diesel powered zero turn, and that is the same unit that we're currently using in both facilities now. So fortunately, we're kind of happy that they were the lowest because we'd like to stay with the same manufacturer. That way we can switch parts around if we have to. It's just easier to maintain if we know what parts that we need to stock up on. So my recommendation would be we go with Riggs Outdoor Power Equipment for this purchase.
We need to approve that, yes?
Yes.
Okay, I so move.
I will second that.
We can vote all in favor of accepting Riggs for the mower.
Aye.
Aye.
No negatives, it passes.
Next item, new truck purchase. As I stated, that we had asked for a new truck next year. Even though the city doesn't have the money in their budget, we'd like to purchase it out of the extension funds. I don't believe we're going to have enough in this year's extension fund allotment to purchase it, but I wanted to get it approved now so that we can begin the purchasing process, so that when we receive the new allotment of $100,000 next year, that we can purchase it immediately in 2026. I don't have quotes yet. I wanted to wait until making sure this board thought that was appropriate to purchase the truck. So, but I'd just like to explain what this, I don't want to purchase a truck just for the sake of getting a new truck. I want to explain why we want to do this. So at Greenwood Cemetery, we have what's called a coach truck. And what the purpose of that truck is that when we hold a funeral service and the funeral home wants to go have the service in one of our mausoleums, specifically over at Greenwood, after the service is complete, we take the body out, we load it into our coach, and this is the Greenwood coach here. We load it into that coach. I'm sorry, this is the old one. We load it into their new coach, which I think was purchased in 2019, I believe. They load it in there, and then they transport it across the cemetery to the grave, and then it's unloaded from there and placed on the lowering device, which you see to the left there. At Swan Lake Cemetery, we don't have a coach vehicle. So when there's a service, either in Serenity or the Chapel of Chimes Mausoleum, they're loaded onto this lowering device, and then it's pulled with our utility vehicle across the cemetery to the gravesite. This item here, the lowering device, if you remember, we spent almost $12,000 to purchase one last year because the other one was trash. This year, we're experiencing many breakdowns on this piece of equipment. I called the manufacturer and explained what we're doing with it and what's breaking on it. They informed me that this vehicle, this item here, was never intended to transport a full casket and body that far distance that we're transporting them across the cemetery. The purpose of the mobile cart here is pretty much to transport the lowering device from our maintenance facility to the gravesite. It's not meant to haul all that weight on here, so that's why everything's breaking on this device. So my plan was to, if you see to the right here, that's the old coach, which is being used by the foreman over at Greenwood Cemetery as a daily driver to do this work in the cemetery. It's still in very good condition, except for a couple of dents that need to be removed. It only has 23,000 miles. I'm not sure why it was ever taken out of commission as the coach and when it was purchased, I don't know. But what we would like to do is purchase a new vehicle here, and the new vehicle here would be for the purpose of snow plowing and pulling trailers, because currently we have no vehicle that will pull a trailer so that we can transport equipment from one cemetery to the other. So what we would like to do is we would get a new vehicle. The vehicle that I'm currently driving, the 2016 Chevy Colorado, it's a compact pickup. You can't put a plow on it. You can't tow it. That doesn't have a tow hitch. So we would like to assign that to our foreman at Greenwood to replace the coach over there, bring that old coach over here and use it for its intended purpose as a coach, so that we don't have to put all the wear and tear on our lowering device. And then the new vehicle that we're looking to purchase would be a 2025 Ford F-250, a base truck, not a four-door, just a two-door, as cheap as 3/4 ton truck as we could get, because right now, like I say, the vehicle that I'm driving now cannot plow snow. We need something that can plow snow with, so that when I come in on weekends or a snowstorm, I don't have to hook everything up on our old dump truck out here and try to plow snow with that. So again, the other purpose of it would be for pulling a trailer so we could transport equipment back and forth between the two cemeteries. The reason I specifically listed a 2025 Ford F-250, we wouldn't necessarily have to bid this truck out or quote it out. There's a process that we follow. It can be followed. There's a state QPA purchasing system where the state actually bids trucks, municipal equipment out at the beginning of the year for everybody, and then every municipal government agency can take part in this, so that we don't have to go through the long process of actually getting quotes. The quoting process, the bidding process has already been done by the state of Indiana. There's a company called Sourcewell that the city has used before, and they actually do the same thing as the state's QPA system too, whereas everything's already bid out. So if a manufacturer, an automobile dealer, is already part of the Sourcewell bidding process, everything's already been taken care of. So they're guaranteed that we're getting the best price we can without having to go out to bid or quote. So there are, I think, 2 dealers in our area, or close to our area, that are part of that QPA or Sourcewell agreement. So, but I wanted to get this board's opinion on whether that's something we want to do before I take the next step, and either ask that the money be appropriated next year in that $100,000 that we will ask for next year, or we can actually go to the city council and ask for additional appropriation next year. But I wanted to leave it up to the board whether you want to go through this if you think we need a new truck. So,
What's the price of the truck?
I'm asking for $60,000 for the appropriation. They're running about $52,000 now, and then it'd be about approximately another $6,000 to buy a snowplow for it. This is one of the trucks we will be getting rid of. This is the old plow truck. It's currently sitting over at Greenwood because it's inoperative. It's rusted out, the frame's rusted out, the brakes are out. And then this is the truck I'm currently driving, and that will be transferred to the foreman over at Greenwood Cemetery. So I would be asking for a vote at this time, whether this won't be to actually purchase it. This will just be a vote to ask to begin investigating the process, to get estimates for it, and determine when we actually want to purchase it. So.
Are we gonna have a full cab on it like the other vehicle, casket transfer vehicle?
On the new vehicle?
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on it because I plowed before snow, and with that truck cap on, it's hard to see out the back when you're backing up, continually backing up to plow snow. So I was gonna go with a flat cap instead. So.
As long as it all fits.
Yes.
All right. We'll move forward and need a motion to accept the proposal at this time.
I make a motion, we accept the proposal on
Second.
Next.
Ford F-50.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No negatives? Motion carries. We can move forward.
Next item I have on here is a price list update. I just learned about this this new process apparently that is not so new, but it's rarely used. But apparently there's a way that if somebody purchases a grave, they can actually purchase a headstone from a local monument company. And instead of, let's say they want to intern an ash on that gravesite, instead of actually putting the urn or container in the ground and burying it, there's a process where they can actually, the monument company will actually bore a hole in the headstone and actually intern the ashes in the actual headstone that we sealed and covered up. The issue with that, obviously, if we were to intern the ashes in the ground like normal, there's a charge of $850 for the opening closing process. With this process, there is no revenue and there's no way to track the interment because we're not charging them for it. So when we go live with our software system here, there would be no way, if somebody wanted to look up that burial, there'd be no record in our system of that interment because it was never charged or no record. So, and this is the first time I've heard about it, so it's very rare. I don't think we've done it out here at Swan Lake. The current one that we're going is currently taking place is out at Greenwood. What we need to do, I'm suggesting that we should come up with a charge, a recording charge, so that if somebody decides to go that route and intern the ashes in the headstone itself, we would still collect a fee for recording that burial. And I'm suggesting that we make it $100. Obviously, that's a lot cheaper than charging them at $850, which would be the cost of putting it underground. So I think $100 would be fair for us to record the burial and make it accessible under public records.
So that wouldn't count toward the number of burials in that particular?
It would, yes.
Okay.
So if somebody decides to intern their ashes in the headstone, they're still only allowed 2 burials on that plot that they purchase.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. But I guess they're saving a lot of money on our end because they're not paying the $850 opening and closing charge for us. I'm not sure how much the monument company charges for boring that hole and doing the internment in that headstone.
Is that done on the spot in the cemetery, or is it done ahead of time?
So this one will be done on the spot because the boring holes are already in the headstone. So the monument dealer who did the insurance agreement to work on the property at the beginning of the year will come out.
Okay.
So the monument dealer will be responsible for if there's like any leakage or, something or
Correct.
Even though we're charging $100, it doesn't give us part of it.
No, the $100 is not any kind of service we're providing other than just recording and documenting the burial.
Okay.
Now, there are other costs that could be associated if they decide to have a service at the chapel, at the mausoleum before they turn the ashes there. There will be a charge for that, just like everything else. So I would be asking for a vote to approve a $100 request.
Ask for free improvement for monument burial person with a board of $100.
I so move.
I'll second that.
Okay, we'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Next item, Swan Lake fountain repairs. We put the new fountain in last fall. It's worked great. It stopped working about a week ago. I pulled it out to see if there was an electrical issue with it, and what has happened is we are now home to a family of muskrats in our pond who have chewed up the wiring. So I've ordered the necessary parts to repair the fountain. It can be easily repaired, but we're going to take steps to make sure that the cord can't be chewed through anymore. So just in case anyone here or the public wants to know why the fountain's not out there, the pond is looking kind of muddy right now. That's why we're doing our best to get it repaired as soon as possible. Next item, the Greenwood fence painting. At the last meeting, I had stated that we were looking into either contracting the painting out or possibly hiring additional seasonal employees to do the work. The mayor has supported our request. We're asking for funds for 2 additional seasonal people, but we already have those people this year. It's just a matter of we're getting rid of 1 full-time position at the cemetery that is not currently filled right now. But in the past, we've always used the salary from that full-time position to hire additional seasonal. So we are going to keep the money for 2 additional seasonal, but we're not getting any more money to hire more than we normally hire. So we're not going to really have additional people that would be able to do that. And like stated at the last meeting, we're looking at well over $50,000 to paint the entire Greenwood fence. So my plan right now is I've been busy painting this building here over the last couple of weeks. But when we're done here, I'm going to go to our paint supplier, Sherwin-Williams, see if they have a 1-step process where we can actually paint without having to sandblast and prime the fence and just paint it ourselves, but do it a section at a time with our current staff that we have. So hopefully here within the next week or 2, we can purchase a gallon of that paint, start painting the fence ourselves, and see how far a gallon of paint, how many panels we can get painted out of a gallon of paint, so that we can estimate based on how many panels we have at Greenwood, how many gallons of paint we're going to have to purchase, and we'll have a general idea of how much it's going to cost us to paint the entire
Is it
fence.
spray or hand paint?
We're probably going to hand paint it because I've been told that if we're going to waste too much if we try spray painting, and there's a chance it's going to blow onto headstones or passing vehicles. So.
Okay.
As I stated, that we've been busy the last couple of weeks working on completing the painting of our Swan Lake office here. It looks really nice. Our contractor did a really nice job. The brick on the exterior of the building was not part of the original quote because we thought maybe it would match the gray paint that we're doing now. It didn't really, so we decided to paint the brick too. So I'm doing that myself because they wanted $1,000 or more to paint the brick. So that's been complete. I think it looks really nice. The only thing we have left, as you see, the windows are almost complete. When the contractor was installing one of our large windows in this room, the new window broke. So we're just waiting on that new panel to be manufactured, and then they'll come out, finish that, and then our painter will paint the rest of the room. So it's been a long process with this building, but
Looking
very
good.
close. Serenity Well quotes, as I stated, the original contractor that we approved to complete that has been MIA. They're not answering the phone. I don't know if they're out of business, but we haven't been able to get hold of them, so I had to find a new contractor. So I went out and got 2 new quotes. The first would be from Clearwater Well at $3,550, and the second one was from Lakeland Pump and Well for $2,900. And again, this is to we will be tearing down our pump house out at Serenity and replacing it with a much simpler and cheaper system that would be a lot easier to maintain, where we're not having to heat a shed over the winter. So my suggestion would be to go with the lowest bid, which would be from Lakeland Pump and Well for $2,900.
Is Lakeland local?
Yes, they are. They're located on Carwood Road, Michigan City.
And where's Clearwater?
I believe they're out of Rolling Prairie or Carlisle, something like that. Clearwater did good work for us. They're the ones who rebuilt our pump house up here.
Yeah, I think they put a pump in for us.
Make a motion to accept Lakeland Pump.
I make a motion, we accept Lakeland Pump and Well for $2,900.
And I'll second that motion.
Excellent. Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Negatives? None? Motion carries.
The last item I have, we discussed at the last couple of meetings, the community activation grant. We've been trying to come up with a project to spend this grant on. So I come up with a few suggestions here. First suggestion And this is a picture of our Veterans Circle out here at Swan Lake. If you've ever walked out there, you'll see it's got a really nice monument, nice lighting now, nice flagpoles, but the ground itself won't grow grass. It's uneven, has a lot of weeds. We've tried everything, but grass won't grow, so our only option would be to dig it all up and resod it. But my suggestion would be that I contacted a local company that does the decorative concrete curbing. And what we could do is put a concrete curb all around that circle, encase it in a circle, and then all the grass that's in there around all the flagpoles and the monument, we could remove that and put in like a decorative mulch or a river rock, and it would be a lot easier to maintain, and maybe even some decorative bushes. I went out there and measured it. I think they're charging around $15 a linear foot for the concrete curbing, so we'd be looking at about $1,200 for the curbing, and then additional cost for the river rock and any shrubs that we might put out there. So it would be well within the $3,000 that we have to spend on this project. My other suggestion, if you wouldn't want to go with that. The entrance to Greenwood Cemetery has the large, kind of iconic limestone wall entrance. A number of years ago, I'm not sure when it happened, but a motorist crashed into the wall out there and took out about a 4 to 5 foot section of the wall on the north side of the driveway, and it was never repaired. So I contacted a local mason contractor, Ryan Stinley, just so he could try to give me an estimate to see if this would be something we'd be able to afford within our grant funding. I'm still waiting for him. I found out this isn't actual limestone, it's some kind of special block. So he's working on getting a quote for how much block it would take to repair that section. So again, this is just a suggestion that we could use the money to fix that so that it looks like the other side. The other suggestion I had was both cemeteries, Swan Lake in particular, because Swan Lake has mostly wooden signage out here to designate all of our gardens. It's very deteriorated. The wooden posts are falling apart. The signs are faded, coming off the post. So we could possibly purchase all new signage for all of our gardens and the main entrance out here. Eventually, we're going to have to purchase a new entrance sign out here anyway, because it will have the QR code for our that you scan for our new software system. So. But that's the 3 suggestions I've come up with. I'm not asking for a vote today because I still need to get prices for the concrete work at Greenwood to see if that would be feasible. And I need to get quotes to see how much it would cost. I'm sure the signage would probably be under the $3,000.
I think they're all good ideas.
Yeah, like getting rid of the wood posts. You should get maybe something powder coated,
We have to make a decision by.
The project has to be complete, I think, by March of next year, so we have a little time.
So, but you can't work in the wintertime.
No, and if we're gonna go with the curbing, the curbing would have to be done before the frost, or we would have to wait until early spring of next year.
Yeah, that puts us in mind.
But we just have to let them know by March.
No, we have to.
No, I believe the project has to be
completed. Okay.
So hopefully I have everything we need for a decision at the next meeting.
At the next one.
Go forward after that.
Okay.
And then the final thing, I didn't have it on here, just wanted to make the board aware of this. We're routinely getting praise for the work that our maintenance guys do out at Greenwood Cemetery because of the way it looks out there. We received a really nice card from somebody who holds some lots out at Greenwood. And I won't read the whole letter, but they just stated in here, you really do keep one of the very best cemeteries in the country, including many national cemeteries. And then he included a gift card, which we're going to use for our annual dinner that we do on the last day that our seasonal employees
Oh,
have.
that's nice. Wow.
Very nice.
And that's all I have.
Okay, motion to accept the entire superintendent's report as presented.
I make a motion to accept the superintendent's report.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any negatives? Motion carries. Thanks for a wonderful supervisor. Worked up to this. Any
We're going to secretary's report.
The secretaries.
Okay, is there any other business that we need to cover? Old business, new business, thoughts about the future? None? We need last motion. And that's to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No negatives? We're done. Thank you.